Hi, I'm Lee Harris. I'm an energy intuitive, and this is the energy update for December 2019. The themes this month: hollow energetics, feeling a little discombobulated. 2020 energy is already here and it's strong. Surrendering to emotion and a new level of psychic strength, among other themes. So stay tuned for the full update. Hi, I'm Lee and I'm in New York for this update for December. So I'm appropriately wrapped up, ready for winter on our hemisphere. And it's interesting, there are so many different themes for this month. But one of the first things that came through, and I think has been showing up for lots of people in the month of November too, is the strength of 2020 energy. For those of you that track the way that energy feels, the way that everything moves on the planet, you will have noticed that 2020 is a very strong and very bright year. There's going to be a lot of forward momentum, especially compared to the last few years. So some of you will already be feeling that 2020 energy coming in. And it can show up in different ways, but some of the key characteristics are a new level of optimism, a new level of connection to everything that you're doing and what you're seeing in the world, and also a very deep feeling of strength. Perhaps a strength that feels new to you or that you've been missing for a while that's now coming back into your life. And so that's going to be hitting some people in this coming month of December if you haven't already been feeling it. But 2020 is going to be a strong year and is leading us into a cycle of years that are going to bring a lot of change, a lot of innovation, a lot of shaking the tree to see what comes loose. And that's already moving in on us right now. But another theme for December that will show up for many is this term hollow energetics. And when that first came to me, I was curious what that means. You might feel a little discombobulated or a little distracted or disoriented, and like you can't quite itch the itch that you have. You can't quite scratch the itch. Something's a little off and you can't put your finger on it, you can't explain it. If that's happening to you, this experience of hollow energetics it's almost like you've been pulled into the center of your life and you can't feel gravity or the ground anymore. You also can't really go high or access the higher realms the way that you used to. It's as if you've been pulled into this central place and it feels a little hollow to you, a little strange, a little foreign. This happens to us when we're about to go through a transformation. So what I've just described can be characteristic of any time in our life where things are set to change, set to transform. But this is going to be coming up for a lot more people than usual in December. This hollow energetic phase is getting you ready for what's going to be a year where you will take stronger forward leaps in your life and in the world. And that's what 2020 is really characteristic of. I have to put my hat on, it's too cold. I thought I'd take it off, but no, that's not happening. Give me 1 second. Okay. Okay, there we go. Oh boy, yeah, that was a bit too much for the crown chakra. Okay, the other aspect that's coming up this month is surrendering to emotion. Now, for those of you who are emotionally exhausted or worn out empaths, you might be like, oh, I'm done with it. But surrendering to emotion is going to get easier. It's going to move through you faster, and it's going to quicker move you into clarity. This is a brand new theme that's showing up on the planet, but more of you will be finding that perhaps things you used to be resistant to, places, experiences, or ways of feeling are going to get a lot easier for you. Your body and your energy field is getting to a place where you're able to handle things a lot more than you used to be able to. So this is great for addictions too. You know, a lot of the time we've turned to addictive tendencies because we feel disconnected in life or because we want to disconnect from what we're afraid to feel in life. So as we hit this new phase of us being able to surrender to our emotions more, that we are more equipped, more supported, more able to let them move through us and let the alchemy of that movement turn into something good. So for example, when we release grief, when we go into our sadness, when we go into our loss, we feel it enough that it can move out and it's no longer haunting or underpinning our life and our behaviors. It allows room for new energy to come in. That's really what this refers to. So you and others in your life might be able to surrender to emotion at a higher level than ever before. And this can also look like people in your life that you previously weren't really able to talk to about deep things or emotional things, or they previously had a hard time talking emotionally. You're going to see that wave is already happening on the planet, but it's set to get stronger as we move through and into December. That's going to come up for a lot more people. Another theme that I loved receiving that is going to show up in December is everything is coming together for a lot more people than before, in particularly the area of their purpose in life. You know, for many years, my guides have said that the further we go past 2012 and the more we get into this very deep transformation cycle on the planet, the more people are going to be living from purpose. So those of you who identify as change makers, healers, creatives, innovators, really big siren confirming this. I don't know if my mic is picking it up, but there's a sign from the universe and a sign that I'm in New York. That more of you are going to be living in a very purposeful way, and that is going to get easier, and everything is coming together to support that purpose. So if you've been working on your mission, trying to find the right people to partner with, trying to be able to put the first foundation brick in place, and it's either been a struggle or it's been slow, December energy and beyond, you're going to start to see more of a wave of everything coming together for you in life, in your projects, in what you're doing. And for those of you who feel like you're very far away from that, you're probably going to be experiencing what I mentioned at the beginning, which is this hollow energetics and some of that emotion having to move out. So you're going through a transformation process in order to be able to really step into your purpose in a bigger way, because 2020 is dragging all of us there, whether we go kicking and screaming or whether we go willingly. I spoke in November about the identity shift that's taking place, and identity shifts need to take place in order for us to become who we are next, to move into the next phase of our life. And you could look at the years between 2016 and 2020 as a 4-year arc, and I'm not speaking American politics there, but there has been a 4-year arc at play. We're about to enter another 4-year arc, which is 2020 to 2024. And it's going to have much more of an upshift in terms of people doing things in very new ways on the planet. This last 4 years, we've seen a lot of the old shaking loose, being rattled, rearing its head. The next 4 years, innovation and the new is set to come in a far bigger way. And so, in tandem with what's going to happen collectively, you yourself and us, ourselves, are going through this shift where we get to align with our purpose in a bigger way and start to see everything coming together. Collaborations, people, connections, things we're building. This can also mean a new way of looking at your own health, your own physicality. It might be that you're ready to give yourself a better experience of your physical body on earth, which of course is the house for our spirit, the house for our soul. So it's very important. And the fifth and final theme for this month that came through very strongly was psychic strength. So more people than ever before are beginning to have psychic clarity, psychic visions, psychic strength. And to me, psychic strength is a very holistic way of looking at our intuition. We can have a psychic vision, we can have psychic clarity, but how do we use it? And what is our soul being given these psychic visions for? So to me, psychic strength is when you are able to use the psychic part of yourself in a very grounded, responsible, and intuitive way. And you're able to take those visions and those clarities and understand and interpret what they mean, and then how to put them into action. So, psychic strength coming in a bigger way can mean that many of you are perhaps losing your old mind. This is why when you go through a kind of upshift when it comes to your intuition and your psychic self, you can start to really experience confusion in your old way of thinking. You might be a little more off with your memory. Your mind might be not feeling the way it was because you're starting to see from a higher mind. And when that's first coming in, again, it can be a little discombobulating. So this goes back to the hollow energetics that you feel. So you see, all of the themes that I'm talking about can be very connected and very multidimensionally hitting all of us at once. So for this month, we have hollow energetics, we have psychic strength, we have the ability to surrender to emotions in a bigger way. We have living your purpose and 2020 energy calling and pulling you forward. And we have everything coming together, starting to come in to support your life, take you to the next place. The new level of your identity is coming in. So it's going to be a very good month in terms of the strength of it. As ever, in these times that we're in, looking after yourself, making sure that you are balancing yourself in these energetics. If you're someone going through a really big awakening right now, if you're just coming online with the spiritual senses, the idea that you're a soul, the idea that how the world used to look to you is no longer fully believable. It's like, oh, hang on a second, there's a lot more to this than I've been thinking all these years. Please look after yourself right now. The energy is really strong, it's high, and if you're having an awakening at these times, don't forget these bodies of yours. It's easy to do when you kind of get into high energy, or you get on a high, or you get on a roll of lots of energy and adrenaline running through you. Super important to ground. So you can ground through exercise, yoga, meditation, being in places where people are calm in their bodies. It's why things like yoga or any kind of wellness practice is good. And then if you need to express that energy, dance, sing, play, love, find people that are good to be around. Because as you're going through these energetic shifts, it's quite strong on the body. So we need good community, we need good self-care, and we need to understand how to manage ourselves, which might be different to how we would have managed ourselves a few years earlier. We might need a bit more quiet. We might need a bit more space. So, thank you for tuning in for the December energy update. Also, a huge thank you to everybody who has enjoyed our brand new music video and single, Golden World Govinda. If you're watching on YouTube, you can find it here on my YouTube channel. If you're watching anywhere else, you can go to leeharrismusic.com, my music website, and see it there. We're thrilled with the response and we're really happy to have it out in the world. And if you would like to join us at a live event, we have a whole host of them coming up in 2020. Our Intuitive Power Tour, which is myself and my husband, Stephen Washington. We're bringing that to Los Angeles in January, Portland in February, Toronto and Calgary in Canada in March. My brother from another mother, Scott Stabile, and I are doing a special 4-day retreat for creatives and anyone who wants to take their creativity to the next level or out into the world. That's called Creative Empowerment. That's in February. And we are doing my Impact the World program for soul-focused entrepreneurs in 2020 in Scottsdale, Arizona. So for any change makers, healers, creatives who want to learn more about the business side of taking your work out into the world, but also the energetic side of how do we manage ourselves as soul-focused entrepreneurs, because it's one hell of a journey, but it's one that I have loved this last 15 years in my work. So Impact the World is next April, and all details for our live events are on our events page at my website, leeharrisenergy.com, or check the links underneath this video. We have a fantastic new recording for you in the portal, my members club this month. So check out the portal if you want to get exclusive MP3s, messages from my guides, the Z's, each month, and also a 90-minute broadcast with me where I go really deep on the energetics that are affecting our members community, answer your questions. Stephen brings in Qigong medicine every month, and we have a fantastic members community. And last but definitely not least, we are bringing back my annual program, Rebirth. This is a way that if you can't get to one of our live workshops, or affording that is just out of the question for you, I bring the best of what we do into my annual Rebirth program, which is online video and audio. It features teaching from Stephen, it features music from Davor Bozic, and I teach core themes to prepare you energetically so that 2020 can be your year to stand tall and live boldly. So we'll play you the trailer for that right now if you stay tuned. Thank you all for joining, lots of love, and see you in January for the next energy update. Rebirth is my annual online video and audio course, and this year Rebirth 2020 is going to be more powerful than ever. Why? Because 2020 is going to be a whopper of a year. The themes that I'm going to be bringing to Rebirth 2020 are standing tall, living and loving your purpose and your life boldly, oneness, peace and compassion, fostering those towards yourself and towards others, and that includes healthy boundaries. Conflict dissolution, very important during these times, the art of adding water to fire and why that's so necessary for all of us right now. Mending the fractured heart. So when we mend our own heart fractures, which is really accelerated on the planet right now, we get to be an ambassador of that for others too. And there is a deepening around that I'm going to explore with you through the video teaching. Also, Stephen Washington will be bringing his body wellness and mindfulness to you in a video module. Davor Bozik is bringing special original music for the Rebirth program, and we kick the whole thing off with a channeled message from the Z's that you will receive as soon as you sign up. And when we actually start the program, which is January 7th through 14th, as well as all the video and audio I've described in the middle days, I'm going to start with a live broadcast and end with a live broadcast. The good news is you don't have to be there on the 7th through the 14th. You can watch the content for the rest of the year, because once you've signed up for Rebirth 2020, you will always have the materials. They'll all be housed for you inside the online course. And one of the things I love most about Rebirth is the online community. We have a private Facebook group as well as the online forum, and last year over 2,000 people took Rebirth, and still the conversations and the support are alive inside that group. So if you're ready to kickstart your year and you want to live and love boldly like you never have before in 2020, we would love to see you inside Rebirth. Check the link below for more details, and lots of love.